got some interesting news involving 76ers president of basketball operations, Daryl Morey, and the 76ers themselves. They have both been fined $75,000, Mario. So basically what ended up happening was Daryl Morey ended up posting a photo on Twitter, actually. It was involving Steph Curry, and he actually posted a photo on Instagram, Steph Curry on his brother Steph, which captioned Ayo at S.Curry, which is his brother's Instagram account. You killed tonight. And the caption that Daryl Morey put in his post said join him. And he actually tried to clarify what he meant by this. And I'll read you. It says in that quote, "My goodness, folks, I am talking about the fact that we are thrilled Seth Curry is here with the Sixers, nothing else." So, but regardless, he was still fined $75,000, as well as the 76ers. They were also fined for it as well. And before I pass on to you, Mario, this article was written by Tim Bontemps, who was an ESPN from ESPN. So I'll let you start off first. What do you think of Daryl Morey and the Sixers getting fined?
Well, first of all, look, Nate. I mean, the caption has said join him. Now, I understand the NBA's tampering rule. I understand it. Okay. Do I agree with it? Not really. I haven't agreed with it since it came out. Okay. But if we're going by the rule, okay, join him. That definitely sounds like you're trying to recruit Steph Curry. So I can understand why they fined him. Is it a fair fine? See, that's a really tough question to ask to answer because I don't agree with the tampering rule almost at all. I don't. The only thing that I can say about the tampering rule is the low market organizations. Okay, the Detroit Pistons right now I feel like is one. The Orlando Magic. I'm trying to think of bad teams. Like I don't know, maybe even I can't really think of a lot of bad teams, Nate. That are like low market wise aren't that great. The Kings,
The Kings aren't really a big market team
right,
either.
Sacramento Kings, those teams, those low market teams, those are the ones that they affect. Here's my problem with the tampering rule. You're not going to stop these players from. You're not going to stop them from tampering. You're not going to. Okay. And here's the thing. I don't even have a problem with what these players do. Okay. Because here's the thing. When the season's over, okay, and the players still signed with their team, and these two players from two different teams they meet up. Some of them have been friends for a very long time. You're going to tell me that they're not talking about ever teaming up? You can't. First of all, I don't like the tampering rules because, to be honest with you, yes, are you tampering with like the actual? What do you call it? They're not part of. They're still part of their own team, so you can't. Yeah, but the problem is this: how are you going to stop players from talking to each other? I don't think. Like, let's take Mark Cuban for example. Mark Cuban, again, he's more than just an owner. He's a great businessman. You know, everybody knows who Mark Cuban is. You're going to tell me Mark Cuban doesn't talk to other players from different teams? Or anything like that. Like you're gonna tell me he's not friends with those guys. I'm not accusing Mark Cuban of tampering. What I'm saying is I bet he's friends with a lot of players that are not on his team. So that's my problem with tampering, Nate, is the fact that I don't even have a problem with. I don't even really like most of the time I don't even have a problem with it. Why? Because these players are friends with other players, so they're gonna talk about stuff. You know, you can't stop. What are you gonna tell them not to talk to their friends? It's a little weird. Okay, how like that's like somebody telling me don't talk to Nate because he's part of a different organization and it's against the rules. You're not going to stop me from talking to my friends. It's as simple as that. So I don't even like these tampering rules, Nate. Okay, and not only that, the NBA, I think with the tampering rules they get soft. Okay, I really do. Let me go to a perfect example. Okay, Odell Beckham when he was with the New York Giants. Okay, and he was during that trade discussion about him getting traded, right? One person I remember who recruited him to the Cleveland Browns was Jarvis Landry. Why? Because they were both teammates at LSU together. They've known each other forever. So when he said like Odell, like he was recruiting Odell to go join the Cleveland Browns, that's what you could call kind of tampering as well. But again, it's not that big of a rule in the NFL. I'm not now the NFL doesn't do a lot of great like I'm not a big fan of the way the NFL set up and everything. But the NBA, now I'm looking at it, and the more and more rules that they come up with, the more I just don't agree with them. The tampering rule has been a rule for a decent amount of time. I don't agree with it. Okay, if players want to talk to other players about forming teams, fine. I don't understand the big problem with that. Now I know what a lot of people in the comments are going to say. The problem is because it's not done the right way and because low market teams don't have a chance at them. I get what you're saying. I understand that. Can I be honest? Those low market teams probably weren't going to have a chance to begin with. You know why? Because they're low market. So ready? LeBron James, his contract's up. You think he's gonna go to Orlando Out of all the teams he could go to, you think he's going to Orlando? Nothing against Orlando, but you think that's the team he's going to go to? Hell, even he said it on his podcast or his whatever you want to call it. I think it's a podcast. Yeah, his podcast, the Barbershop series, right? Even he said he has so much PTSD from being in the bubble that he doesn't even want to go to Orlando. He says he said nothing. He said if they said LeBron, you're traded to Orlando, he says I'm retiring. So think about it. You think guys like Kevin Durant want to go to Orlando, want to go to Sacramento, want to go to the Pistons, Nate? No. What do you think they want to do? They want to team up with guys that they like to play with. Okay, James Harden. James Harden. He likes Kevin Durant. He likes Kyrie Irving. Why not join him? Kevin Durant. I like Kyrie Irving. Why not join him? LeBron James. I like the Lakers. I like what they're all about. Okay, it's obviously one of the most prestigious franchises in sports. Let me join the Lakers. Okay, this is how deals are made, Nate. Okay, most likely low market teams aren't going to attract superstars. Okay, I don't have a problem with players talking to each other. Okay, because you can't stop them from talking to each other. Okay, it's like this. Okay, and this was a good point from Colin Cowherd. He's a Fox analyst on the Herd. He said this very, very well. And I looked at this video. I think it was like a year or two old. He said this. He said, I have a daughter. Okay. I'm not going to tell my daughter not to drink. Why? Because she's around a bunch of 18-year-olds in college. She's going to drink. But I tell her, don't be stupid when you drink. You're going to drink. Don't have too many beers to the point where you're drunk. That's what he said. It's the same thing with this. Okay. You can't tell players not to talk to their friends. All right. You really can't parent them. Okay. If you see a tweet like this with Daryl Morey where it says join them, I understand that. Okay. I understand you're about to throw that fine, but the problem is you can't stop these people from talking to the players outside of games. There's been instances where you got like Raptor scouts in the stands, looking at other superstars and stuff like that. You can't stop it really. My problem with the tampering rules is honestly they use the rules to keep the game fair, and in a way it does. But the problem is with the tampering rules, it doesn't give the players a lot of room to even talk to each other about stuff. And again, I just don't think when they talk to each other about forming big three, I don't see why that's a problem. Okay. If anything, it makes the NBA more entertaining, in my opinion, because now everybody's so tuned in to watching the new big three or the new two duo come together and play. If anything, it makes that more attractive. It creates more excitement. Okay. So if players want to talk to each other about forming teams, I ain't got no problem with that. Okay. Honestly, I have a problem with the tampering rule because I just don't think it's really a good rule, to be honest with you. But if we're focusing on this rule, and I'm sorry I'm rambling on and on, but if we're focusing on this rule, it is a rule still part of the NBA. And like I said, despite you liking the rules or not, you got to follow them. In this case, Daryl Morey's tweet, it did sound like he was trying to recruit Steph Curry. Could that have been his intentions? Maybe, maybe not. I'm not, according to him, he says they're not. I'm not quite sure, but regardless, Daryl Morey has actually spoken about this a lot. He's spoken about it a couple of years ago. He says that he thinks there shouldn't be any tampering rules at all. He said it on the Rich Eisen show a couple of years ago. So I'm not sure what he thinks about this, but regardless, Nate, I understand why they fined him. Do I agree with the rule? Absolutely not. I think you can only limit. I think you could definitely limit the rule. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, players are going to talk to their friends. Players are going to talk to executives. You're not going to change that. So with that being said, to Daryl Morey and the Sixers, I still wish you guys the best of luck. I know you guys tied the series against Atlanta 1-1, so I wish you guys the best of luck in that series. And as for Daryl Morey, I hope that he can learn from this. Even though he might not agree with the rule now. I'm not sure what his thoughts are on it now. He might. I hope that he can learn from this, and I hope that he doesn't make this same mistake again. Because at the end of the day, this mistake is just costing the team money.
Yeah, absolutely. Best of luck to Daryl Morey and the Sixers, first of all. Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. I don't really agree with the rule that much. It's like you said, going outside the NBA, going outside the arena, and living your normal life. They all talk about a lot of things, and talking about certain players forming up with other players. That's definitely something that they talk about. So
Right.
that's the thing is like how you gonna know when they're talking about that outside of the arena? You're gonna put spies there?
Right. You
That's why I
can't.
don't like it so much.
Right. You can't tell them not to talk to their friends. It's a little weird.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like damn, I'm gonna be honest with you, if I worked somewhere and I was told I couldn't talk to nobody, I don't think I'd be able to last. I don't think I'd last. But
Right.
it
They probably got like private texts that they send to each other about
yeah,
talking about this stuff. You never know.
it's like it's just so dumb because some people may argue, oh, this could just be for the workforce, like when you're on work grounds. Yeah, fine, but like I'm not I'm not sure if that enforces it in general. You could correct me on that if I'm wrong, but I'm not sure if it strictly enforces it in general or if it just enforces it while you're on the job. I'm not so sure. But
Well,
some
clear. I mean, I know Daryl Morey is the president of operations, but he's on a Twitter account. He wasn't on the work. I don't think he was on the workforce,
yeah,
but you never know.
yeah, yeah, I'm not sure if the rule itself strictly enforces that, but either way, honestly, like I think it's a dumb rule because either way, I feel like people are gonna talk about it anyway.
I agree.
You know
And
what
not
I
only
mean?
that,
So go on.
right? Not only that, if you really look at it, like if they are talking about this behind the scenes, and all of a sudden it gets formed, it just makes it that more entertaining for the game until obviously you go into later. Like for instance, when Kevin Durant joined the Golden State Warriors, we were all anticipated in the beginning, but then towards the end, we were like, all right, this is getting old now. So
Yeah,
like, but again, regardless, it's in the beginning, it creates so much entertainment because now you get to see players who know each other, who are very good friends with each other, who are very skilled, get to play together. And that's something that if you were to just stop tampering altogether, it wouldn't have happened. Like, think about this, Nate. Think about if players were not allowed to talk about and right now they're not. Obviously, this is a rule, but think about if like there were spies everywhere and they couldn't even talk to their friends about anything regarding joining a team. Think about all the type of stuff that would have never happened. Okay, you're gonna tell me LeBron James and D Wade never really thought about joining a big three with Chris Bosh. Those guys are very good friends. All of them came from the same draft class. So you can't tell me, okay, now maybe they never did talk about this or not, but regardless, they're best friends, and that created some pretty entertaining stuff in Miami. As simple as that. Okay, so I'm tired of this whole like tampering rule, Nate, because A, you can't really stop them from talking to each other about this type of things, and B, at the same time, when they do talk about these types of things and the stuff actually happens, and that's what creating entertaining television for the NBA. So I don't understand it, Nate.
yeah, neither do I. But at the end of the day, whether you like the rules or not, you still gotta follow them, and that's just that's why he ended up getting fined. So with that being said, even though you don't like it, and I understand, I don't either. I hope you can learn from this, and if obviously he will, I'm most likely positive he will. I wish him the best of luck, and the Sixers the best of luck against the Hawks. This series is tied 1-1, so it's looking to be a pretty good series there. And yeah, we'll just see what happens with the Mario.